Good afternoon. It's January 22nd. Saturday afternoon. My plan today is to walk somewhere I walked quite often in the spring, but I haven't been there since it snowed, which is over to the community garden and see what it looks like in the snow. Won't be a lot of gardening going on, that's for sure. What's the temperature? I don't know, minus 10 or something like that. Celsius. Got the external mic plugged in, the plugged-in external mic, which I've used a few times now, and it seems to stay connected, but at least it did yesterday. But I also thought when I listened to it that it was cutting in and out, so I don't know what that's all about. So if you're watching this, let me know. Also, I hope it's focused. I had some focus issues earlier, too, so just one thing after another. Never seems to be a perfect walk. Always something weird goes on with the camera or the microphone or the weather, but the weather's nice today. No wind to speak of. Of course, got to get across the creek. That's always the first step here. We got some fresh snow. I haven't cleared my walk yet, and I see other people haven't. Supposed to snow more tomorrow, too. It's either a jogger or a thief. I think it was a jogger. I'm going to go down here today. If you are watching, I don't know if anybody is at the moment, let me know if the sound cuts in and out, and I'll unplug the mic and just go with the camera mic. I don't know what would have been causing that yesterday, unless of course there's a break in the wire. It's a very thin little wire. Saturday, so it's been an errand day, grocery shopping. Used a gift certificate I got for Christmas. Bought a new pair of pants at Colin O'Brien, local men's shop that we like. I like. Now there's a nicely cleared bit. Wonder how they got it down to that bare to the ground. My shovel won't do that. Every year I think about buying a better snow shovel, but I like my snow shovel. It's just the right width for our sidewalk. A lot of them are too wide for our narrow front yard sidewalk. Like I said, I even got an electric shovel, which was on sale, so it wasn't too expensive. Don't like it at all. It's way too heavy. It's harder work using it to clear the snow than it is to shovel, unless it's a really heavy snowfall, and we don't actually get that many really heavy snowfalls. Usually they're more like this, maybe about 3 or 4 centimeters at a time. 10 in a pinch. And often the snow is quite light because it's so cold. Always, but often. Check my coat. It has a tendency to unzip itself these days. I don't know what that's all about either. Oof. Why is there such a unexpected dip down there? The ground must have heaved or subsided. Cameron Street here is where the footbridge is, so that's where we're headed. Then I'll go to Hill, walk straight out Hill to Queen, which will take us by the gardens. And then work our way back from there. One for sale if you're looking for a cute little house in the neighborhood. Oops. Microphone came right off my coat there. See? Something always goes wrong. Touch it a little lower, if that makes any difference. Yeah, now the gimbal's confused. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? Snow shoveling going on over there. I should actually, oh, it came off again. That's never happened before. I don't know why it's not gripping. It's hard to do with one hand too. What if I attach it to the zipper? Maybe that'll keep the zipper from scooting down. Like I said, something always goes wrong. In fact, I think that's kind of the guiding principle of the universe. Something always goes wrong. Murphy's Law. If something can go wrong, it will. And of course, something can always go wrong. So yes, it always does. And it seems to apply even more to me some days, I think. Well, we'll see what happens now. It can't go too far down. One button is buttoned, so it can't go any further down than that if it slips down on my zipper. One thing about fresh snow is that it's lightened everything up again. The roads were quite brown because it was up around freezing. Now they're white again, although tomorrow it's supposed to... The weather's weird right now. It's going to stay about where it is. Shoot up to +1 tomorrow, and then be -18 by Monday. So that's a pretty big swing in temperature. See? Well, it shouldn't go any lower than that, my zipper, that is. On my coat. Not on my pants, I assure you. That one's pulled up. It's even my neck a little more exposed than I'd like, even though I've got a scarf on. Can't do anything about that. It's a little better. Okay, I'll go for the footbridge into Lakeview. Oh, somebody pulling a kid on a sled. Heading over to the sledding bowl, not too far away. Hello. Hi, Greg. Can't read what that says till I find a dark background. We'll just go straight up here till we reach Hill, I think. Or else we'll zig and zag a little bit. Now, what did you say? Okay, I don't know who that is. Not being a hockey person. As I've explained, I was too old, 8 years old when we moved up here from Texas. Couldn't skate, didn't really learn because I had flat feet and it was always painful for me. And as a result, hockey just never mattered to me. So I don't know hockey players to speak of. So I'm coming the other way. Hi. Carrying coffee, they must have got that on Hill Avenue. I don't know where else they get it around here. The only professional hockey player I ever interviewed was Tiger Williams, because he was from Weyburn. I was a reporter at the Weyburn Review. Oof. I'll zig a little bit here so we can walk by the school, Lakeview School here. Here, Lakeview School, it says right on it, so you can't forget. One of the older schools. I think parts of it are older. This says 1930, but I think parts of it are older than that. Sure enough, that zipper just goes down as far as it'll go to the end of that button. That's annoying. I could snap up something at the top here to help keep my neck a little warmer. There should be a button, a snap there somewhere. It's there, but can I squeeze it with one hand? That's the question. Yeah, there we go. See how that goes. Ah, now I'm choking. It's a little too tight. Adjust the scarf maybe. It's not quite so tight. There we go. We'll see how that goes. I might even want that scarf over my face. It's not really cold, but it's not really warm either. I feel like I'm wearing a neck brace now though. It's so tightened up. Come on, gimbal. Work with me. Hope it sounds okay. Nobody said it isn't, so I hope it's coming through and not cutting in and out. This side of the school. See, the gimbal did not swing when I turned it. It's done that before in the cold. It's very annoying because I want it to move with me. Although somebody told me in my walking around the lake video, he said, you know, people like to watch the walk while they're on a treadmill, and when I swing the camera around it's disconcerting. And I'm thinking, well, that's fine, but there are other people who are not on a treadmill and they'd like to look around, so the treadmill people are just going to have to put up with a little disconcertment from time to time. Is that a word? Disconcertment? Although it's cool, you know, people are walking on the treadmill and walking in Regina with me. That's kind of cool. That's not specifically what this is about. It's about showing off things too, like United Church there, for example. Lakeview United Church. That's McCallum. We're going up the hill. Hill Avenue. Follow Hill right out to Queen. Turn left on Queen, that takes you by the Grow Regina Community Garden. And then back along whatever route I choose to follow. An older house. Looks abandoned, or not abandoned, but empty. There's no blinds or anything. Maybe I just can't see them, although... Oh yeah, there's blinds in the window, I just couldn't see it. Well cleared. Someone's been using a snowblower or something, judging by the amount of snow piled up. Lots of snow in the forecast too. You know, these sort of little snowfalls day after day. Hopefully that means come spring there'll be lots of moisture for the crops. Ah, okay. I guess I've heard the name. That's about all I could have said. I didn't know he was from Wichita. Oof. Now this sidewalk doesn't look well cleared at all. We'll go a block over this way. The bylaw is it has to be cleared within 48 hours. I may do ours tomorrow on the theory that I'll do all the snow after it's all come in tomorrow. Or I may do it when I get back. Just the front, maybe not the back. I don't need to go out the back very much right now. It doesn't take that long. It's kind of silly not to go ahead and do it. Besides, it's good exercise. This is the only exercise I get, walking and snow shoveling. Especially since the YMCA downtown closed. Or for a couple of years, I was very religious about going for weight training, but nothing else is as handy as it was. And that was before I was doing the walking, so I'm wanting to do an hour of exercise, but 2 hours is too much, which is what it would be if I walked and did weight training. Eats up too much of the day on a weekday. I do have some little weights which I should start using just to keep something going with the upper body. Like just a couple of little dumbbells. I keep meaning to bring them home from the condo where they are right now. I keep not doing that. Well, I may spend more time over there, not too distant future. I'm hoping to do some more audiobook narration. And that's where I have my mic set up in a closet. It's a little too live, really. There should be more sound deadening stuff in the closet, but Does the trick. It passes Audible's quality control whenever I do it. So this is a hill up here. Or we are on a hill now, I should say. I'll walk down this side. These are really badly cleared too, because it will take me by the stores along here, which is always interesting. I missed a couple of snowfalls on these ones, I think. Never stops.
What's that?
Said it never stops.
Yeah.
I gotta do mine when I get home. This is the Hill Avenue shopping area, so you get Lakeview Fine Foods here, small grocery store, which I've only rarely been in. Thank you. There's other things, drugstores, pizza place, coffee shop. I'm sure this is where the coffee came from that people were carrying that I saw earlier. There's a kitchen supply store here. Pizza place. Houston Pizza here. And a gas station on the corner. Skate sharpening and knife sharpening, as well as gas. Here's they rent snow blowers too. So there are a lot of them parked out there. All right, I'll carry on. Getting warm now from walking. Oof. Another unexpected dip. I could stay connected. Nobody has said it's cutting in and out, so I hope it's not. There's another one for sale if you're looking. I sometimes thought I should contact realtors and see if they'd pay me to walk around their neighborhoods. You know, $50 for an hour walk. I have to be careful what I said though. Look at that stupid house. Turns out that's the one they're selling. That would, you know. Good. Good neology is good theology. Of course, this is a Seventh-day Adventist church, so they would have had church today. today being the 7th day, the Sabbath. Yes, Saturday is the Sabbath, not Sunday. Never been sure how that got conflated in Christian churches. Everybody knows Sabbath is the 7th day of the week. Signs. Free. Free what? Free signs? Oh, I don't even know what that is. Oh, it's a Seventh-day Adventist publication. That's what it is. Sort of like the Watchtower Jehovah's Witnesses put out. This was a school. And there's still a school behind it. But now this is a church. Or maybe it was built that way. And maybe it's built as a church. Since there's a school behind it, it'd be funny if that was a school as well, originally. I've been in there once, but I don't remember the interior very much. And that was easily probably 30 years ago when I was in there, so. Ask was the one up there with the tall, skinny trees. So Queen will come up along here pretty quick. It's probably it here. Yes, it is. Down to our left will take us by the community garden. Not too far down. Oh, my arm's getting tired. Still remember the first time I walked over here, having never walked over here before, way back last spring when I started doing these things. I had no idea the community garden was here, so it was quite a surprise to run into it. And walking around it, I managed to get turned around and walk through it twice, thinking I was walking through two different gardens. So, a little embarrassing. Anyway, I have a much better idea of the layout of most of the southern half of the city now, having walked so much of it. Also, occasionally I actually look at a map just to be sure I know which roads I want to take, and I don't end up wandering too much or stretching things out more than I really intended to. Park on the other side here that we'll go through after taking a look at the gardens. I suspect the paths into the garden aren't even cleared, so I don't know that I'll walk into it, but I'll see in a minute because it's on the other side of those trees. It is harder work, even when there's just a little bit of snow on the ground. I think it's because of the way that your foot slides some or skids. So the garden's right there, and so you're constantly adjusting your stance a little bit more than you would on dry pavement. There's the gazebo I've been in a few times there in the middle, designed by Victor Sakansky. We'll see what I suspect it has not been touched in any way, because why would it? Come on, Gimbal. Swing around where I want you to be. I imagine the paths are uncleared and there's no point in wading through the snow. looks that way. Nobody has walked in there for some time. So you have these two Vixikansky sculptures here. The guy with the shovel, and she's sewing something over there. And then he also did the gazebo there in the middle. So the last time I was here, it's just bare ground, still being cleaned up. And now it's just covered with snow and waiting for spring. And when I first came, it was bare ground because it was early spring. So I went through the whole summer coming here regularly and watching the little things grow, as the line from A Little Light Music has it. Now, I don't think I'll try to cross here. It's a pretty big pile of snow. Park's over there, presumably some degree of clearing of the paths over there. Cross-country skiing, so is it possible they don't have the paths cleared for walking at all? No, I think it's somewhat cleared, has been at some point. Not too deep anyway, so let's follow it. It's not technically the creek, that's a storm channel there. Bridge. There's a proper footbridge a little further up here on the right over the storm channel. Some cross-country skiers coming up behind me. I've done that once, it was a lot of fun. In Montana, actually. Big Sky. My brother and his wife and friends were skiing and snowboarding, but we went downhill skiing. Cross-country skiing. Never tried downhill or snowboarding, and I'm not about to at my age. I thought they were coming up behind me. Well, they're over there in the park. There they go. So I guess there's a bit of a groomed trail there, maybe. I'm just looking for a path across the park, otherwise I have to go all the way down to whatever the road is at the other end. There should be a path through up here. Tobogganing in the bank of the creek over there, of the storm channel. Over there. There it was. Nice gentle slope. Now, theoretically, there should be a path through here that might be slightly cleared at least. Or not. Here's the other footbridge I was talking about. Right there. Maybe here. I could wade through the snow, but even this snow is deep enough, it's getting more more of a slog than normal for one of my walks. Now, has anything been done here to thin it out a bit? Hi, how are you? It's a small city. You always run into people you know. I think this has been thinned out at some point a little bit, but it's still not exactly cleared. I could just barely make out the path. That orange stuff down there is where they're building the new school. Or maybe people are just beating it down. It's never been cleared. Whew. Carry on. It's all valuable. Whenever I set anything in the cold or the snow, I always try to make it real to my lived experience as a Saskatchewander. There is actually a sort of a tourism guy called the Saskatchewander who visits various parts of the province. Much harder walking through that. See, lots of skiers around. There goes another one, or maybe the same one on a second lap. Nobody on the playground though. Sorry if you're on a treadmill. Had to stop and swing the camera around. Okay. I think up here we can get out of the park. Hopefully onto better cleared sidewalks. Always look both ways, especially in this weather where the roads are slippery, so if the car doesn't see you, they also can't stop. Down Portmore here, which will take us to Argyle. And we've turned the corner now, headed home. I actually know somebody who lives right along here. Haven't seen them for a long time, but our daughters dance together, so we used to see them all the time. They're important. There's a big newer house. There's somebody with a dog. Well cleared there at all. Not really cleared along here at all. I'll stick to the road since it's not a very busy road. Better along here. Doesn't look like I've had a lot of people walking with me today, but it is a different time of day. Here's Argyle. We will go up Argyle to take us back towards Regina Avenue and home. So we get across the creek. Cleared it all here. I have to cross over here eventually, so might as well do it there. All right. Oof. North Argyle. Which turns into Elphinstone eventually, kind of. Actually, I guess it goes on that way, but you take this curve up here around what used to be St. Luke's Anglican Church. I say used to be because it's for sale. Maybe it's bought and sold, I don't know. Very distinctive church. I don't see a for sale sign on it. Oh yeah, it's still there. I hope somebody buys it as is and doesn't just tear it down to build something else there, because it's a very interesting building. Very cool. Must be a pain to clean the cobwebs out of the top of the auditorium, but still. Congregation just shrank too much, and so it's for sale. Been in there a few times. I've been in the fellowship hall behind it more often because we've rehearsed shows there over the years. Quite a few years ago now, but I know I rehearsed Fantastics in there. I think the first time I auditioned for Rob Burson, who became a good friend, was there. That was for a show called This Can't Be Love, so we probably rehearsed that in there too. It was a review. I remember rehearsing, for sure, Most Happy Fella in there, and others things too, I'm sure. The fellowship hall has a daycare in it now, I think, so it may have been sold some time ago. It's that building there. It's at the back of it here. A lot of cars parked there. Two, 3 deep. What's that all about? Something going on in the church? I don't know. Been in that 7-Eleven many times as a result, because I used to buy big gulps there before I went to rehearsal. We'll get across hill and then maybe I'll leave Argyle here, work our way back to Cameron, which we have to be on to cross the footbridge. That's where we crossed and started that way. And here's where I ran into the guy that was shoveling his walk. Right up here, where it's not shoveled. So I am repeating myself a little bit. Whew. Let's give my right hand a bit of a rest there. I think we're going to watch the newest James Bond movie tonight. fills a good 2.5 hours of your evening. Cat doesn't like it. Way too many noises. Sure, cats wonder why humans are so noisy. Everything we do makes noise. Why do we sit and look at that thing with the light? And sometimes it has pictures that they can recognize, because I just let Shadow Paw watch animals on the screen. He clearly sees them and recognizes them as animals, but oh, this sidewalk, it's not good either. And like the first time he saw something, he went up and tried to touch it, and he learned pretty much immediately that he couldn't. And then sometimes he watches it, but he doesn't get excited about it anymore. Sort of like the laser pointer. He played with it the first couple of times we had it, realized that he couldn't catch anything, and ignored it. Now, I haven't tried it for a long time. Interesting to try it again and see if he still remembers. Same thing with mirrors. He won't look at himself in a mirror. He just ignores it. Looks off in a different direction. They can be taught, or they can learn, I should say. Didn't try to teach him anything, he just learned it. Not a bad winter walking temperature today. My face is a little cold, not too bad. I'm not cold at all anywhere else. Well, my legs, I guess, but legs don't feel the cold the same as your face does, that's for sure. Maybe I'll zip over and go up an alley to shake things up. I was going to put my wireless mic on today and see if it would stay connected. But I was having trouble keeping a little fuzzy windsock on it, and I got fed up and just plugged this one in instead. All right, let's go up an alley. There's Lakeview United Church ahead of us with the tower. That's on McCallum. And the creek is 2 blocks north of that. Obviously, this alley doesn't go through because the church takes up the whole block on the other side. I don't think it goes through. Let's see how it could. It's somebody's backyard. Ooh, heavier snow there too. I'll end up repeating streets I was on if I go to the right, so maybe I'll go backtrack a little bit to the left and go up that side of the church. Dogs always hate it when you walk down the alley. They think that's part of their yard. That's the most likely place for me to get barked at. Okay. Go on this side of the church, just to be different. There's the rink over there. know if there's anybody skating on it, but I'm sure it's skatable. It hasn't been that warm. Don't know how often they flood them. So I'm sure the ice gets pretty awful at times. There's the church. Rehearsed there many a time too. In the basement and in the chapel upstairs. Wade through all this stuff that's on the road. And there's the sidewalk. Over there, one of the city's outdoor rinks. Not getting a lot of use at the moment. Actually, it doesn't look like it's been cleared of snow. So that would influence that. I think it's snow covered. That's probably why nobody's on it skating very much. If there's somebody over there on skates, I guess. So must be somewhat skatable. Coolest outdoor rink is the one I walked by on Friday, which is the one on the West Canada Lake. That was cool. Has lights and everything. So they built it right on the ice, put boards on the ice, and put lights up on standards that sit on the ice. I'm still trying to figure out why there's a patch of open water in the middle of the lake that the birds are sitting in, and beginning to wonder if there's some sort of aeration pump under there that keeps oxygen in the water so fish can overwinter, and that's why it's open above. I just don't see any way. I mean, we were talking about it while I was walking. Maybe it's just the birds sitting in it are enough to warm it up, but I don't really believe there's enough coming from a few birds to keep water from freezing at -30. I think it must be something on the bottom of the lake. So I need to research that. It would make sense to me that there'd be something bubbling up, because they do want fish to live over the winter, and the water is deep enough now that it could still, one would think, lose all its oxygen content. So it's like the thing you see in fish tanks, it bubbles. Same purpose. Sorry, bit of a dip there. That's Regina Avenue, and it's just a block over, 2 blocks over, back over the footbridge. And Bob's your uncle. If you have an Uncle Bob. I never did. I have an Uncle Harold. Asa. Who are the others? Well, Buster. I don't know if that was his real name, but that's what everybody called him. Asa. And they were all... My mother was the youngest of a large family, so they were all old when I was a kid, and most of them were gone before I was old enough to, make much distinction. I remember the aunts better on my mother's side, her sisters. There we go. I'll take this alley. Oh, look, there's a hare. Snowshoe hare. See the little black ears sticking up? Trying not to make him think I'm chasing him. And he's gone. We're reading Watership Down, which of course my wife and I, which of course is about rabbits. They distinguish between themselves and hares. I talk about a rabbit running like a hare. Hares are more running, I guess. But there he is again, or still, just down there. You can see him just in front of that blue bin about halfway down. I'll stay on the alley to get to Cornwall, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll go up to Regina Avenue to go to Cornwall. That way I don't repeat that little bit of street up there that I walked along before. Technically, I'm not on the sidewalk here. I'm still on the street. And of course, the creek's over there, which I will walk along again on Monday, as I do every Monday. See, it's quite a bit higher on this side of the creek than the other side. You can tell just by looking at the roads over there. Okay. Up to the crosswalk. I think we'll walk on the dike going back. So I'll get a little bit of a creek walk even today. Ready to be home. It's definitely a little harder walking in the snow even when it's mostly cleared. Supposed to get another 2 to 4 centimeters tomorrow. Here's the footbridge in the crosswalk, leading there too. Oof. Another skier. I didn't take my traditional look along the creek when I came because there were people on the bridge with me. But there's looking west and looking east. People have been on the ice. You can see the footprints down there. It's a bit of a slog though. The snow is quite deep. Tobogganers like right over there. There's a lot of them there today. Not a lot of people saying hi today on here. I don't know what everybody's up to, but that's okay. Will I walk tomorrow? That's up in the air. I like to take a day off on the weekends now. But on the other hand, I took 2 days off this last week, so I'm feeling a little guilty about that. It's supposed to be warm tomorrow too, so no real good excuse not to take some sort of walk. Except laziness. Or the fact that, Sunday is a day of rest, even though it's not the Sabbath, as we established earlier in this conversation. Low battery. Still cold enough to affect the battery on the iPhone, clearly. The gimbal seems relatively good. On On the really cold days I was out, the minus 25, 30 days, the gimbal gave up the ghost. It just refused to gimbal anymore. It acted like the battery had died, but the battery was back once it warmed up, so I think it was definitely a cold thing. Alright, here's Vitalik. Change hands so I can use the handrail, because the steps are sort of cleared, but perhaps not as much as one would like. Just have to watch out for cords. People have their cars plugged in and they string the cords. That's a block heater is plugged in inside the car, if you're not from around here. They string the cords across the sidewalk, which I think there's probably a bylaw against that too. But what you're going to do? Occasionally somebody has it rigged so it strings above the sidewalk high enough for people to walk under it. Obviously that's a lot of extra work. We have a carport at the back that our more cold sensitive car is plugged into. I hope it starts. Trouble is it also doesn't run very often, and so the battery gradually runs down, even if it's not that cold. I should run it tomorrow. For that reason, while it's warm. Maybe go drive somewhere to take a walk. Somewhere different. If I take a walk, if I don't decide to give myself Sunday off. Which I can do if I want, because nobody's in charge here except me. I am the boss of me. 2 more blocks. How long have I been out? Oh, I did go over an hour, so I figured I would. Even on a spring day, that would be most of an hour, a little over an hour, and noticeably slower right now because of the footing. One more block. Oh, there's a dedicated bicyclist. I don't have any desire to go biking in the snow. Even with the big fat tires, you could see his wheel was spinning as he tried to pedal. I don't think he's moving much faster than a walker either. There's our traditional stop sign up there. I'll probably just put the camera and stuff inside, and before I take off my coat, shovel the walk. So think of me while you sit in your warm wherever you are. That's it for today. I may or may not be back tomorrow, but I'll be back soon. Thanks for walking with me. Bye for now.